2012. The Netherlands. A young engineer named Jan walked into his new office for the first time. His colleagues had already given him a nickname, not a kind one. That crazy idiot working on the next generation, when we cannot even make the current generation work. Friends, Jan's job was to help build a machine that 30 years of the world's smartest physicists had already declared impossible. The task: hit a droplet of molten tin, smaller than a blood cell, moving at 250 kilometers per hour with a laser. Not once, 3 times, in 20 microseconds, and repeat this 50,000 times every single second, without ever missing. In 2012, nobody believed this could actually work. Today, this exact machine is the reason your phone, your laptop, and every AI chip on Earth exists, and almost nobody outside the industry knows its name. Friends, every device you own exists because of one single machine. One company makes it, one small country builds it. Without it, the entire modern world stops advancing overnight. It costs $400 million. Scientists call it the most complicated commercial product humanity has ever built. For 3 decades, the world's top physicists insisted it was physically impossible. So why did America's biggest research labs walk away from it? And how did a tiny Dutch company succeed where billion-dollar American labs failed? Today, friends, we tell that story. Friends, today we'll understand how an impossible idea finally became reality. A Japanese scientist laughed off a stage, an American engineer humiliated in front of his entire field, and how one small Dutch company became the single most important company on Earth. Friends, every chip contains transistors, billions of them. For 50 years, a simple rule held true. Transistors kept getting smaller. The number you could fit doubled every 2 years. This was called Moore's Law. But by 2015, this rule was about to break. To make chips, you use light, photolithography. Smaller wavelength means smaller features. The industry was already using 193 nanometer light. There was no obvious way to go smaller. Friends, Moore's Law, the rule that had powered 50 years of progress, was about to slam into a wall. In the 1980s, a Japanese scientist named Hiro Kinoshita had a radical idea: use X-ray light instead, just 10 nanometers. He spent years building it, special mirrors, a working prototype. He actually printed an image using bent X-rays. In 1986, proud, excited, he presented his findings to the Japanese Society of Applied Physics. The audience refused to believe him. He later said, "People seemed unwilling to believe we had actually made an image by bending X-rays. They treated the whole thing like a big fish story." Friends, a man who was about to change the world walked off that stage in silence. In 1987, an American scientist named Andy Harryluck picked up where Kinoshita left off. He believed in this idea completely. He spent 5 months preparing. He flew to present it at a major conference. What happened next, friends? Slow down with me for a second and feel this. He stood on that stage. He explained his work, and one by one, every single person he respected in his field walked up to the microphone, not to ask questions, to tell him exactly why he was wrong. "I was literally laughed off the stage," he said years later. "Every person I looked up to in this field told me how stupid an idea it was." He flew home that week, in silence. His boss asked him one question on Monday morning. "How did it go?" Andy looked at him. He said only one sentence: "I will never speak of it again." Friends, that is what real failure feels like. Not anger, not tears, silence. But 3 days later, something happened that nobody expected. The phone rang. Not a colleague, not his boss. Bill Brinkman, Executive Vice President of AT&T, one of the most powerful men in American technology. He had heard about Andy's work. He wanted him to fly to New Jersey and present it again. Andy's boss looked at him and said one word: go. At Bell Labs, Andy finally found people who believed him. The US government, still funding Cold War research labs, gave seed money. By 1993, scientists from around the world gathered near Mount Fuji for the first international conference on this technology. They gave it a name: Extreme Ultraviolet Lithography, EUV. Friends, one phone call from one believer turned humiliation into a global research effort. By 2000, American labs built a working prototype. It actually printed chips using EUV light. It seemed like the impossible had finally happened. but the prototype could only print 10 wafers an hour. Real factories needed hundreds per hour, every day, for years. One by one, every major American company walked away. Only one company in the entire world chose to stay. A small, almost unknown company in the Netherlands, ASML. Friends, here is who actually suffered through all of this. The victim was the entire global semiconductor industry. Billions of dollars spent, decades of research, with no guarantee any of it would ever work. The villain was not a person. It was physics itself, so extreme that the smartest engineers alive could not defeat it for 30 straight years. And the system, America's wealthiest corporations, looked at the risk and walked away. Only one small Dutch company chose to stay when everyone else quit. ASML chose molten tin droplets. Better efficiency than earlier methods, but hitting one droplet was so precise, engineers compared it to sinking a golf ball into a hole 200 meters away, not landing near it, sinking it. Every single time. They fired the laser twice. First shot, flatten the droplet into a pancake. Second shot, turn it into plasma. By 2014, they hit 100 watts. But the industry had already moved on. The new target was 200 watts. 2015. Korea, ASML's board summoned. Customers' patience gone. Show us results now, or walk away. They boarded the plane. Experiment still running. Result unknown. They landed. 200 watts. Achieved. Friends, that close. That is the margin success was won by. Friends, here is a fact almost nobody knows. This machine is so precise that 2 chip layers can never misalign by more than 1 nanometer. 5 silicon atoms of tolerance. If you scaled its mirror to the size of Earth, the biggest bump would be no thicker than a playing card. And here is the part that should actually worry you. This machine is built by exactly one company on the entire planet. Friends, think about this carefully. The phone in your hand right now. Every AI chip reshaping the world this year. All of it exists because one small company in the Netherlands refused to quit when America did. If ASML had failed in 2015, your phone, right now, in your hand, would not exist. Not a slower version. Not a different version. It simply would not exist. Your entire digital life depends on the success of one company that almost gave up. Friends, when Kinoshita was laughed off that stage, he could have quit. When Andy was humiliated in front of everyone he respected, he could have walked away forever. When every major American company abandoned this project, ASML could have abandoned it too. They did not. Friends, in 1986, one man left a stage in silence because nobody believed him. By 2024, that exact research powers nearly every advanced piece of technology on this planet. This is not just the story of a machine. It is the story of people who heard impossible and built it anyway. Friends, tell me, did you know the chip inside your phone exists because of a machine built by exactly one company on Earth? Comments below, yes or no. See you in the next video.